A reminder, folks, news doesn't end here. Here's what's coming up on WCNC Plus at 7 a.m.
In the State of the Union address last night, President Trump mentioned Charlotte and the CATS light rail system and the tragic killing of Irina Zaruska. What did he say? We'll have the details coming up.
Charlotte firefighters are asking for a boost in pay and better benefits. Coming up, why they're making these requests of city leaders as they plan next fiscal year's budget.
And CMPD's new chief addressing concerns with community members face to face.
These individuals have been arrested, 200 times and 300 times. What's going on with our system? Why somebody can be arrested that many times?
What the chief says you can do to help bring more families justice. With temperatures heating up, we are digging into the science behind some animal weather folklore.
That's right, what the birds and the bugs are telling us in this week's Weather IQ. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
If you take I-85 inbound for your morning commute, take a look at your TV screen. We have a backup that's really starting to build. This is mile marker 21 out near Cox. We're continuing to see stop and go traffic. This just happening about 5 to 10 minutes ago, and honestly, it is getting worse. So as you are traveling inbound, you're going to want to allow for extra drive time or consider taking Highway 74 instead. I'll be following this for you on WCNC Plus. Chris.
All right, we have a windy Wednesday, some rain Thursday, a wicked awesome weekend. Upper 60s to the 70s, and then eventually the 40s will rebound to the 60s Wednesday, Thursday. Make sure to catch us on WCNC Plus. We're just about to stream in the next couple minutes.
streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start off this hour with a check of your forecast. Chris is standing by, says it's going to be windy today.
Windy, cloudy start, a little bit of sunshine, but yeah, definitely a windy Wednesday is the bottom line today. Did have a little bit of green flash here on our radar that was just a borderline sprinkle to nothing at all. Most didn't hit the ground. And cloudy start will eventually give way to a little bit of sunshine later on, but definitely clouds winning for your Wednesday, your Thursday, and your Friday. More sunshine by this weekend. Relative humidity, whenever you have values that are below 60%, quick little weather IQ lesson. It's not going to allow the rain to hit the surface. And a lot of times it can evaporate before it hits the ground and sometimes form something called virga, these little wispy down clouds. Our WCNC tower camera showing 43 degrees right now, feeling like 35. If you have a wind chime, it has been probably very active all night last night. And sometimes when you have a windy day, winds slowly ramp up. Well, the winds have already ramped up, gusting over 20 miles per hour for this morning. And that it did blow in a little bit colder air initially, but now it's starting to shift out of the southwest. That's why temperatures are already around our highs yesterday afternoon. We've hit our low of 43. Yesterday's high was 44, so putting that perspective. Also dropped down to 34 before the clouds rolled in here around Hickory. The only freezing point I'm seeing is around Morganton. Most likely nearby areas like Valdez and Eichert are also around that freezing point as well. 61 Charlotte, 62 in Hickory, even the lower 50s up in Boone. It's right in here. It's a little bit warmer just because you're going to have a chance for more sunshine. How it looks in the background is what will remain over the next few hours. By the late morning to the early afternoon, I think that's our sunniest part. And as I mentioned, winds are going to be ripping up to about 25 to 35 miles per hour the middle of the afternoon. That means a lot of large branches and trees swaying in the breeze. Still on these type of days, even though we don't have any big storms, people aren't going to be looking out for that. There's a lot of trees that are damaged from the recent snows, from the ice, even from the recent winds we've been having. So some downed trees could be a possibility. Last Wednesday, we had part of our tree actually come down when it was just as windy. Over the next 36 hours, we're going to have a front that rolls in, and that's going to bring in the rain. So it's widespread rain for your Thursday morning, heading into your Thursday afternoon. Could have some scattered to isolated showers through the overnight, but it's mainly going to be a morning event. So check it out. Here comes the rain overnight. So as I mentioned, we have a little pocket of sunshine, clouds roll back in. Here's around midnight, seeing a little bit of rain around the I-40 corridor. Between about 4 and 9 looks to be the heaviest rain, so it will be a wet morning commute. This will linger into the afternoon, and then we even clearing some things out heading into the evening hours. And then beyond that, clouds remain for your Friday, and then here it comes. I'm so excited for this. We have the upper 60s, the mid 70s on Sunday. Now, I am being honest with you. We are going to see a cool down. Cold air damming is going to lock some clouds and even a rain chance for Monday and Tuesday. Highs on the upper 40s, but then after that, we're right back to the 60s. Wasting no time warming up just like this week. Okay, let's get right over to Majestic. Our first look at traffic here on WCNC Plus.
All right, good morning, everyone. We're heading into our Wednesday morning now into that 7 o'clock time frame, and we've been following this crash for you. It's the biggest thing that's ongoing right now. I-85, if you make that inbound commute, this is mile marker 21 out near Cox, where we do have cars that are moving. They're just moving slower than they even typically would be this time of the day. You can see all lanes right here. I would allow for about 5 to 10 minutes extra for your morning commute because things are just really moving slowly. Let's take you out to it specifically here on my map. There's a slowdown right here. I-85 approaching Main Street Lowell, so around exit 22, and then again backed up to exit 21. You can always take Highway 74 as well. I see more clear conditions right there opposed to what we're seeing here on I-85. Everything else is looking all right around the Queen City. One other thing I do want to mention is this here, Park Road. If you take those outbound lanes, a new accident was just reported there at Sharon Road. Ben.
New this morning, a man is behind bars in connection to a 2024 North Charlotte shooting. CMPD says Woody Daniels, you see right here, was arrested Tuesday. He's facing multiple charges, including murder and robbery with a dangerous weapon in connection to the death of 21-year-old Zinil Baez. The shooting happened back in April of 2024 on Druid Hills Way. That's just a few blocks from North Graham Street. CMPD says Baez was taken to the hospital and later died. Daniels set to be arraigned at 10 this morning.
President Trump delivered his first State of the Union in his second term, the president touting the economy and his immigration policy. As NBC's Tracy Wilkins reports, it comes as polls show consumers are losing confidence in the economy.
As President Trump addressed members of Congress for the second year of his second term.
Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger. than ever before.
Divisions between the two parties were evident, especially on issues like the state of the economy.
They caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
The president boasted a stronger economy, one of the many issues more than half of Americans believe he's failing on, according to recent polling. Trump also made his case on his tariffs in front of the Supreme Court justices who recently ruled limiting his ability to levy them.
But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made.
The president touted ending wars while promising he will not allow Iran to pursue a nuclear weapon.
I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon.
Several Democrats boycotted the speech, while some who were there at times shouted in protest, especially apparent when the president accused Democrats of supporting sanctuary cities and not his immigration policies.
They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
It was a point Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger addressed in the Democratic response.
Our president has sent poorly trained federal agents into our cities, where they have arrested and detained American citizens and people who aspire to be Americans, and they have done it without a warrant.
Spanberger also countered questioning if Americans are the ones who are benefiting most from the president's policies.
The scale of the corruption is unprecedented.
There was a moment when both parties agreed and Democrats who were in the chamber applauded, and that was when the president called for the passage of a bill to end insider stock trading by members of Congress. In Washington, I'm Tracy Wilkins, NBC News.
The president also discussing the deadly attack of Irina Zarutska on Charlotte's light rail last summer. It made national headlines. He was calling on more to be done to put an end to violent crimes.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us live this morning. He's along the light rail in South End with more on the president's message.
Yeah, good morning to you, Lisa. Good morning, Ben. Good Wednesday morning, everyone. The president bringing Charlotte into the spotlight, as well as its light rail system, highlighting what has been 6 months since the tragic killing of Irina Zarutska, and also demanding that Charlotte leaders and lawmakers do more to protect the public. Take a listen.
No one will ever forget there were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina.
Yeah, the president recognizing Irina's mother, Anya Zarutska, in the gallery, telling the audience that her daughter had fled war in Ukraine in 2022, seeking safety in North Carolina, safety that that did not happen. He went on to criticize no cash bail policies. He also said the suspect, Carlos Brown, was released before the attack, and he urged Congress to pass tougher laws to keep repeat violent offenders in prison. Republicans applauded the remarks, while most Democrats remained seated. After the killing, North Carolina lawmakers approved Irina's law, tightening bail restrictions, expediting death penalty appeals, as including magistrates needing not handling the cases in some of these instances. We can tell you that we have reached out to a number of Charlotte leaders, and including Kat's leadership, for a response. When we get one, we'll deliver that to you. Right now, we're in South End. This is Richard Devane. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Richard, you and I have been having this ongoing conversation throughout the morning. I was curious earlier, has Charlotte been mentioned in a State of the Union in the past? Because it seemed like it had. Well, I looked into it, and it was President Obama, 2012. He was talking about a partnership between energy companies here and CPCC. And you point out, rightfully so, that also coincided with a big event here in Charlotte that year.
That is absolutely correct. The DNC was here that year. And also, there have been people from the Charlotte area, from our region, who have been invited by members of Congress. The presidents have invited people from our region to the State of the Union addresses over the years. But that was the first and only time until last night that our area was actually mentioned in a State of the Union. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Richard Devane reporting live for us there in South End. Richard, thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham praised the president's speech. In a post overnight on X, Senator Graham called it, quote, a breathtaking summary of the most successful first year of any president in modern history, adding that unfortunately for the Democrats, they took the bait every time. This morning, we are working to learn more about what led to 4 arrests at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse. The Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office says several attorneys were interfering with ICE agents Tuesday as those 4 people were arrested. You see their names there on your screen. They say ICE told the Sheriff's Office if anyone tries to stop their apprehension efforts in the future, they'll be arrested. We're waiting on a response from ICE on these cases. Right now, 5 North Carolinians are launching a class action lawsuit over warrantless immigration arrests in the state. The American Civil Liberties Union filed that lawsuit on their behalf. The suit claims the 5 were arrested without probable cause, which federal law requires. Now, in a statement, an ACLU attorney says federal immigration agents have consistently ignored the law and trampled civil rights in North Carolina. Also adding, this lawsuit seeks to stop this abuse of power and demand accountability going forward so communities don't continue to suffer violent arrests.
Right now, crime numbers in Charlotte remain down, and Police Chief Estella Patterson says she needs your help to keep them that way. Last night, Chief Patterson talked to neighbors in Northwest Charlotte about the importance of reporting crimes. She says despite crime being down, there's still work to do, especially as that department works to keep more officers.
Raise your hand if you heard Crime Stoppers. Good. Everybody's hands up and nobody calls Crime Stoppers. That's a problem. If you know something or who's responsible for something, we want to hear from you.
Chief Patterson says all tips will remain anonymous and urge people to tell police where violent offenders are operating so they can target some of those hot spots. We now know the name of the man who was shot and killed by a deputy in Stanley County. Investigators say 43-year-old Jason Trexler died Monday night after shots were fired when deputies tried to serve a warrant. At this point, it's important to say we do not know who fired first. Documents obtained by WCNC Charlotte show Trexler was initially charged for violating his probation for a hit-and-run conviction in Montgomery County. The State Bureau of Investigation is now reviewing that case. This morning, a 16-year-old will remain behind bars for her part in the death of a friend. She's charged with murder after her friend, 18-year-old Xavion Heath, was shot and killed while police say they were trying to rob another teen. Detectives say evidence they've gathered so far places the 16-year-old at the crime scene you see here. Her attorney says that doesn't mean she was the shooter.
A proposed development in Huntersville is facing some hurdles this morning after the city's planning board unanimously voted to deny the project. That plan would rezone 44 acres near Samford Road and Old Statesville Road. More than 400 apartments and townhomes would be brought to the town, as well as 82,000 square feet of commercial space, including a new grocery store. At this point, it's just a recommendation. The town board still needs to vote on the plan. This morning, all Atrium Health locations are lifting temporary mask and visitor restrictions that have been in place since December. That means children ages 12 and younger will now be able to visit hospitals again. The decision comes as respiratory illnesses decline. Atrium Health says anyone with symptoms, including fever or rash, should still stay home. Masks are required in high-risk patient areas. Those restrictions were lifted about 13 minutes ago at 7 this morning.
7:17 right now on WCNC Plus. Americans stranded in western Mexico finally heading home overnight after the days of cartel violence prompted shelter-in-place advisories. The first arrivals landed at Dallas-Fort Worth, where passengers say they were relieved to be back in the States. Airlines, American Airlines and Southwest Airlines waiving change fees for travelers impacted by some of that unrest.
OpenAI says ChatGPT helped uncover a Chinese operation aimed at influencing dissidents abroad. It says a Chinese official used the program like a diary to document the alleged campaign. The company says operators disguised as immigration officials used or forged court documents. OpenAI says the purpose was to silence the Chinese dissidents. Investigators were able to match the diary notes with real-world activities. Ahead on WCNC Plus, the iconic American Girl lineup getting a 40th anniversary makeover. See how the past and the present collide in a new collection.
Well, good morning. Time to open up this leather-bound book and check out our weather story for today. We've been saying it all morning. It's a windy Wednesday. It's already windy. Wind gusts up to 25 to 35 miles per hour. High temperatures in the lower 60s. We'll see a little bit of sunshine, but that little orange block there, we go from the 70s to the 40s. But over the next few days, we are going to be either side of 60 degrees, which isn't too bad. Most of the rain on your Thursday, and then Saturday, we have a nice treat either side of 70 degrees. But our normals are inching higher. Officially this Friday, February 27th, our new normal high goes to 60 degrees. Then through the month of March, we're warming up through the 60s. By April 3rd, we average 70 degrees, and by May 14th, mid-May, we average 80 degrees. People are asking, when are we get back to the 80s again? Well, it gets more and more likely the closer you get to April, where we're starting to pop more 70s and 80s, and then the 60s actually start to become more and more rare as we head through that month. So today, dry. Tomorrow, rain. And it's mainly in the morning that we're looking at rain. Before it was looking like you could have a 1-2 punch. This looks like a single front system now. And then that scatter rain could last heading into your Friday morning as well. So here's the main arrival. This is 3 a.m. on Thursday. At this point, we're seeing a little bit of measurable rain right around Hickory. The thing with this rain is I think it will be heavy at times. Heaviest rain really between about 4 and 9 o'clock across our area, so it will impact our morning commute. That pushes through, and then once you get to the late morning, still think you have some leftover rain, but I think the heaviest rain has now passed. We'll have on and off showers heading into the afternoon. As far as our totals, it looks like it's going to range anywhere from about 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch when all is said and done. Still on and off spotty showers possible through the overnight. But really, once you get to the afternoon, showers are primarily in South Carolina compared to North Carolina. Then here's the treat. 68 on Saturday, mid-70s on Sunday. All right. And our 7-day forecast shows a little downward trend after that. Sadly, it's another visit to the upper 40s. We have what's called cold air damping, so I had to bring temperatures way down. That's going to keep it cloudy, maybe a chance for rain, and then temperatures not moving too much from our high to our low overall. But right now, dealing with some clouds, eventually seeing some sunshine a few hours from now. Okay, let's get right over to Majestic for another look at our morning commute. How's it looking?
It is backed up still. This is going to be I-85. Really the most important thing you need to know if you take those inbound lanes, this is what your morning commute will look like. This is out near mile marker 21 near Cox. You can see the roads are continuing to move. People are moving, the lanes are moving, but it is slow moving. It's always slow moving this time of the day, but it's extra slow because of this ongoing crash. Here it is west of Uptown. It's going to be really out near Main Street, and then it's backed up to Cox Road. So really about a 1 to 2 mile backup. You may want to take Highway 74 if you don't want to sit in this traffic. Otherwise, I would plan accordingly. Another thing to mention is this here, Park Road. Those outbound lanes at Sharon Road will be impacted because of a new crash. Now, this is going to be road work. This is out in Myers Park neighborhood. Crews are going to be out there repairing a sinkhole forming at the intersection of East Boulevard, South Kings Drive, and Queens Road. That's right, a sinkhole forming, so they're trying to fix it before it actually turns into one. Starts at 9 o'clock this morning, stays in place until 5 p.m. That is when they're going to continue to work all the way until Friday night. And then this is another new thing. Just starting today, it's going to be Brooklyn Village Ave between Church Street and Mint Street for the dismantlement of a tower crane. That's going to be ongoing until March 2nd. Guys.
Majestic, thanks.
American Girl marking the 40th anniversary of its dolls this year, celebrating it with a look back and a collection that hopes will bring the brand forward. Each of the original 6 American Girl dolls represents a period in U.S. history. Now they're coming back in contemporary clothes for the brand's modern era collection. American Girl dates back to 1986 when a teacher who loved history created the first product line. All right, going to take a quick break as we take a live look right now over Uptown today, starting off already about as warm as it got all day yesterday, so that's good news. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, hello there. Temperatures at 43 degrees right now, 44 in Monroe, and then it's freezing for you in the mountains and over in the foothills and more around Morganton. The crazy thing is we're only 1 degree off of our high temperature all of yesterday. So even though we are going to have some cloudy spots and only a little bit of sunshine, it's still going to be much warmer because of those strong winds out of the southwest. By the way, today is a windy Wednesday. Wind gusts on and off getting up to 25 to 35 miles per hour. Rain rolls in overnight tonight. I think we really start to see it by tomorrow morning's commute. It's going to be the heaviest really between about 4 and 8 o'clock, pushing its way down towards the south, so expect most of the rain to fall in the morning. After that, clouds linger for a slight chance for rain Friday morning, but check out the weekend. We have the upper 60s to the mid 70s. Big cool down, though, after that. All right, Majessica has an update on your morning commute.
If you take I-85 inbound, we do have an accident to let you know about. Very slow moving. This is out near mile marker 21 near Cox, where each lane is moving, but it's moving even slower than it typically would if we didn't have that crash. Again, that's going to be the biggest thing. Here it is on my map. It's about a 1 to 2 mile backup. So you might want to take Highway 74 instead, or just make sure you allow for a little extra drive time. We're still following several other wrecks for you this morning on WCNC Plus. We'll see you over there soon. Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. First up, we want to get a check at that weather impact forecast. And Chris, there's already good news. We're almost as warm right now at 7:30 as we were all day yesterday.
And the power of the clouds will do that, Ben. 43, yesterday's high 44. So yeah, we're right there. And one thing that's really noticeable today, the winds. Winds are gusting up to already 20 to 25 miles per hour. Sustained winds anywhere from about 10 to 20. They've been all over the place, really up and down. That is creating a wind chill feeling like the 30s. So the wind's not our friend right away, but it will get a little bit better. Still a very breezy day. Winds driving in that warmer air up to around 60 degrees by 3 p.m. I think the sunniest part of the day is the late morning and the early afternoon. We're already starting to see a little brighter sky through that cloud cover already this morning. 62 around Hickory. I do think that there's going to be parts of what we call the isothermal belt right here around Morganton that sometimes can be warmer just because of the topography than Charlotte. Lower to the mid 60s really across the area. Our camera network shows only one that's super zoomed in, so I'll fix the Dallas camera after this. We have that cloud cover that's out and about. We did have a sprinkle chance this morning that is now passed and gone. Our next rain chance is rolling in tomorrow. It's all going to be associated with this front that eventually is going to work its way down towards the south. But here's the window of opportunity for sunshine. Already we're starting to see signs that things are breaking up, and then late morning, early afternoon, we will see more blue sky starting to mix in with that cloud cover. But then by the mid to late afternoon, those clouds really start to build, turning overcast, seeing signs of rain either side of midnight. But I think most of the precipitation precipitation is going to fall throughout our morning commute. That's not what we like to see. So widespread rain is going to be a possibility, a decent soaking, something that we desperately need, and at times it could be heavy. So sadly, I think we have some of the heaviest rain showers during the peak of our morning commute. The time can still fluctuate by a couple of hours, but a majority of this rain I think is going to be clear of I-85 by the early afternoon. So by about 3 o'clock, still seeing active showers, especially down in South Carolina, certainly heavier there, even a chance for a rumble of thunder. A little bit of sunshine tries to fight its way through, a spotty shower possible heading into Friday, and then after that, things are trending in a good direction. So currently, again, temperatures in the lower to the mid 40s. That warmer start is going to allow us to achieve great things. Either side of 60 degrees over the coming days. Don't think you have a lot of sunshine Thursday, but there are some signs in the afternoon, and then things eventually break down for a fantastic weekend. Boy, is this going to be a wonderful one. Upper 60s to the mid 70s each day. No chances for rain whatsoever. However, there's always a price to pay, it seems. The upper 40s, another big drop that we have to endure Monday, Tuesday with a slight chance for rain. Not a lot of sunshine going around, but this looks to be short-lived. We should be back to the 60s by the middle of next week. All right, Majestic. You really had a busier road last time I saw. What's the status now?
It's kind of getting worse. This is going to be on I-85 right here. This is where we do have very slow-moving traffic. Lanes are moving, but they're moving incredibly slowly. So yes, I would say they're getting worse. This is mile marker 21 out near Cox Road. Let me switch it over to my map, showing you exactly what I'm talking about. So west of Uptown, I-85 inbound. This is always a very high trafficked area, but really slowing folks down because of that new crash. Again, this is going to be about a 1 to 2 mile backup as you're approaching Main Street out there towards Lowell. And again, there's that live camera look. If this is your morning commute that you typically take, I would allow for about 5 to 10 minutes extra drive time, or try to take Highway 74 instead. Here's another new crash. Again, just south of Uptown. It's right here. Moorhead Street northbound lanes at Kenilworth Ave. I'm seeing those delays really coming in all directions. And then the third thing you need to know before you head out this morning, Reams Road, the eastbound lanes at W.T. Harris Boulevard will be impacted because of a crash that just happened there. Guys.
Majestic things. Charlotte City Council is working on its next budget, and the Charlotte Firefighters Association wants to make sure they're included. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live this morning outside the fire station in South End, sharing the firefighters' demands. Destiny.
Yeah, city leaders say public safety will be a big part of Charlotte's next fiscal year budget, and firefighters want to be a part of that conversation. Right now, they're asking for a boost in pay and better benefits, saying compensation is not keeping up with the risks of the job or the city's rapid growth. Now, the Charlotte Firefighters Association's top request is for equal pay with CMPD officers through the city's public safety pay plan, plus a cost of living adjustment. Starting pay for firefighters is currently about $3 less than CMPD, and union leaders say that pay gap is making it harder to recruit and retain staff. They're also pushing for lower health insurance premiums and funding for 5 permanent modified duty positions, so firefighters with serious job-related medical conditions can continue serving beyond the current 5-year limit.
Our members experience line-of-duty injuries, cardiac conditions, and occupational illnesses after years of exposure. Some are medically removed from riding the apparatus.
Firefighters from all experience groups, those with a couple years of experience and those with 20 years of experience, they are leaving to go to other departments and other fields of work that offer better pay and benefits.
Council members say they are meeting with firefighters as budget talks continue, and they're also weighing these requests with broader considerations like whether to raise taxes. The city is expected to finalize its budget by the end of June. Live in South End, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
Destiny, thanks for that report. We did some more digging this morning just to take a closer look at the numbers. There are 1,230 firefighters for the city of Charlotte. Their starting pay just about $56,700, and there are 1,930 police officers. Their starting pay about $59,500.
This morning, we are getting an inside look at the Union County Sheriff's Crime Lab, where investigators rely on science and technology to build their cases. What was once just a one-man operation has now grown into a full forensic unit. The department says handling more forensic work in-house is helping them move cases faster.
Blood alcohol testing, we can usually get results back in about 2 weeks, as opposed to 6 months or longer for the state crime lab. And then for all other impaired substances, drugs, cocaine, meth, fentanyl, that someone could be intoxicated with, that takes about 4 weeks for us.
There are real victims, and we're trying to make sure that we do everything that we can to solve these cases and to put people in jail if that's where they need to be.
Officials say as technology evolves, so will that lab, with the goal of delivering answers for families and accountability for those responsible.
Looking ahead, starting this Saturday, South Carolina drivers caught using a phone behind the wheel could face some big fines. The state's new distracted driving law bans drivers from holding or supporting a cell phone with any part of their body. That law went into effect last September. Now, for the first 6 months, troopers issued warnings. Now, those who break the law could pay a $100 fine for the first offense. After that, the fine is $200 and 2 points on your driving record. Next, here on WCNC Plus, a big shift in the cost of some of the country's most popular weight loss drugs. Find out which prices are being cut nearly in half starting next year.
And folks, the Hyundai Hometown Hero program is back for its 8th year. Hard to believe, 8 years. Once again, we're proud to partner with the Charlotte area Hyundai dealers to honor an outstanding teacher with a brand new Hyundai Santa Fe. So if you know a teacher who goes above and beyond in the classroom, out of the classroom, nominate them by going to WCNC.com/hometownhero. Nominations are due by March 8th. Bald eaglets are being tag tested and returned to their nest in Mississippi as researchers try to learn more about those birds. Trained professionals carefully retrieve the eaglets from their nest on private property. Once on the ground, the young birds received a quick health check and were fitted with small GPS trackers. They say information gathered from tracking the young eagles helps teach folks about conservation and the importance of environmental stewardship.
The data helps us understand the flight patterns of the eagles, which helps us in turn understand how important it is to protect the environment here for them to thrive in their natural resources.
While bald eagles were removed from the federal endangered species list in 2007, they're still protected under the Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act, meaning only licensed wildlife biologists, researchers, and authorized agencies can tag or ban them, and they must follow strict federal guidelines.
A Los Angeles man has been sentenced after video showed him giving alcohol to a protected hawk at a local park. Prosecutors say the 25-year-old pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor animal cruelty charge and received 45 days in jail and a year of probation. He also has animal cruelty counseling and a 5-year ban on having animals in his care. Wildlife officials say that video showed the young Cooper's hawk sipping from an alcoholic drink. Are you about to shampoo your hair? Listen to this. Something about shampoos. Experts now say that you don't need a pricey bottle to get healthy hair. Dermatologists report that many drugstore shampoos work just as well as the luxury brands as long as they match your scalp needs and your hair type. Those with curly, color-treated, or heat-damaged hair should avoid harsh sulfates, while oily, straight hair can handle more frequent washing. Doctors say your routine matters more than the price of your shampoo. And while the premium formulas can be gentler, simple, and affordable products, they do work just as well.
Drug maker Novo Nordisk is slashing the cost of its popular weight loss drug, Wegovy. It will go down half of its current price. Ozempic and Rybelsus will also go down by hundreds. The change intended to benefit patients with high deductibles or those paying co-insurance. Insured customers already have copays as low as $25 a month. The changes don't affect self-pay customers who have much lower rates.
Well, changes in air pressure ahead of a strong weather system can have impacts on the body, from headaches to joint pain.
Meteorologist Becca Birdsall explains the science behind why some of us can literally feel the forecasts in our Weather IQ.
As we head into Thursday and Friday's wet weather, you may notice more than just clouds and rain. You might actually feel it. When air pressure drops, it usually signals worsening weather. In this case, that falling pressure means a rain system is moving in. Air pressure is the weight of the atmosphere pushing down on us. Most days, our bodies don't notice it because pressure changes happen slowly. But when a strong weather system moves in, like a cold front, powerful low pressure system, or rapidly intensifying storm, pressure can drop quickly, and research argues for some people that drop can trigger aches and pains. New research says about 75% of arthritis sufferers say weather impacts their symptoms. It also suggests pain levels could increase with every 10-degree drop in temperature. Colder air may cause joint fluid to thicken, leading to more stiffness and inflammation. But falling air pressure may have an even greater effect. As pressure falls, the air expands slightly, including the air inside your body. This can affect sinuses, joints, and even inner ears, especially if they're already sensitive or inflamed. When pressure rises quickly behind a cold front, the opposite can happen. Higher pressure compresses air, which can make sinuses feel blocked and joints feel tight, especially in colder, drier air. If you suffer from migraines, arthritis, sinus issues, or past injuries, your body is more sensitive to subtle changes. With the Weather Impact Team, I'm meteorologist Becca Birdsall.
Thanks a lot, Becca. Now let's embrace our superlatives. Today gets the windiest title, a windy Wednesday with gusts getting up to about 25 to 35 miles per hour. But tomorrow gets another superlative, the wettest day. We'll talk about the warmest and the coolest coming up. Welcome back, welcome back. Thanks for joining us on WCNC Plus. Here's what's going down. We have those winds that are blowing pretty blustery right now, but as temperatures get a little bit warmer, it'll feel a little bit better. Winds out of the southwest are our best friend for trying to warm up. I think the sunniest part of the day is a couple hours from now. Really, it's after 10 o'clock and before 3 o'clock. That's where I think we're seeing the most sunshine before more clouds start to move back in. Not too bad, but definitely on the cloudier side. From the mountains to the sand hills, we have temperatures in the lower 50s. Check it out, lower to the mid 60s here. I think sunshine first pops in the foothills, and then we see the clearing happen along the I-85 corridor. That's why you're seeing a big difference there, and then back to lower to the mid 60s. So it's actually kind of the I-85 corridor that's the coolest part, just the way that cloud cover's working and also the shift of the winds. But I'll bring it up one more time. Today is a very windy Wednesday because those winds out of the west and the southwest will gust up to about 35 miles per hour. This is the type of wind that can still bring down some larger branches that are cracked, or some of those dead trees, some of the tops could actually come off them, as what happened last Wednesday where it was also a windy Wednesday. Now, today's pollen report, winds definitely kick it up. This time actually has all 5 categories filled up. So then now we have 5 different signs of tree pollen that's now at a medium to a high level. Cedar, elm, hickory, juniper, and alder. Maple is technically out there, but I didn't put it on here just because it is the lowest level. It's a little bit closer to our mold and our grass, and no weeds to worry about. This is definitely more of a fall thing. So a high temperature right around the lower 60s today. Sunshine definitely helps us out. By the middle of the afternoon, that's where we're rocking that 60-degree point, and then we have a nice mix of the 50s thereafter, turning mostly cloudy to overcast through the overnight. Our lows are going to be extremely mild in the near term. I mentioned yesterday it was the coldest morning going forward. We will have another shot at a freezing start, so that will still be kind of a shock and awe once you get to your Tuesday morning, and borderline freezing temperatures with a little bit of mist, something we want to watch, especially at the higher elevations. But either side of 50 degrees for tonight, all of us are above freezing. The 40s then going forward, and then even this little dip is very short-lived before we really start to crank things up. So really a sizable change is going to happen for some of our lows. As far as where our highs are concerned, I really like the general direction that we're going. So opening up our 10-day forecast, check it out. Our big change after Sunday isn't going to be great. We have temperatures in the mid 70s, but then watch. Highs only in the upper 40s on Monday and Tuesday. Now, what's actually happening here is something called cold air damming. So that's going to be a little notch in a front that's going to trap all the clouds and even some mist, drizzle, and some rain around Monday night heading into Tuesday. That allows temperatures not to move too much on a Monday, sticking to the upper 40s in the near term, and then it's going to be a really deterministic about how long that's going to last. As soon as that breaks, we're right back into the lower 60s, which, by the way, by the time we get to Friday, our new average high is around 60 degrees. So that means the 60s should start to become the majority on these 10-day forecasts, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Even another shot back to around 70 degrees on Friday, where most of next week we'll at least have a chance for an isolated shower, maybe even a pop-up storm by the back end of the week. All right, that's going to conclude weather. Let's get over to Majestic for our morning commute.
Let's do it. Good morning, everyone. A few icons popping up here on my map, so let's take you to the most important thing. I-85 northbound, so those inbound lanes heading toward Charlotte. We have stop-and-go traffic right now. We're seeing really that backup approaching Main Street Lowell. That's exit 22, and then really it's just slow going all the way to near Cox, so about exit 21. So it's about a 1 to 2 mile backup. It's not that long of a backup. However, those impacts are slow moving. This is one of those spots on my map where it's always slow this time of the day. So once you add in that crash, it's going to be much slower. So maybe take Highway 74, or if you're just taking I-85 inbound, add in a couple of extra minutes to get to where you need to be on time. This one here is also getting worse. This is at Moorhead Street. Northbound lanes really being mostly impacted right at Kenilworth Ave. So this one here happening not too long ago, about 15 minutes ago, and still ongoing. The one on Reams Road was just cleared, so we're making some progress there. But this is now Westinghouse Boulevard, South Tryon Street. It's right south of I-485, the southern half of it, and we have that stop-and-go traffic there as that accident is still ongoing. As we're looking at 485 out towards Matthews, not too bad, kind of just our typical congestion there. If you're making that morning commute in from South Carolina, good morning to you. This is our SCDOT cams. You can see traffic will be slow moving if you're coming in from York County into Mecklenburg County, but that's just what we're used to heading into right around that 8 o'clock time frame.
Majestic, thanks. Approaching 7:54 now. We need to take a quick break, but make sure that you continue streaming live right here on WCNC Plus. A live look of Uptown right now. Chris says it's going to be a windy Wednesday. Stay with us.
Welcome to a windy Wednesday. Strong wind gusts today, anywhere from 25 to 35 miles per hour. It means large branches in motion throughout the day. Wind chimes already singing their song this morning. Lower to the mid 40s, 44 already matching yesterday's high. 43 was the low, so now we're warming on up. 42 degrees is the low right around Rock Hill. High temperatures in the lower 60s mainly. I think we see a little more sunshine northwest of us, so Hickory, you're going to be a little bit warmer over to Morganton by the middle of the afternoon. Already starting to break open some of the skies, allowing for a little bit extra blue sky. Late morning heading into the early afternoon for more clouds start to increase. Tonight, rain rolls in. Expect a wet morning tomorrow, right around 60 degrees the next few days, and then boom, look at that, upper 60s to the 70s before we see another drop into next week. Wonderful weekend on the way. Let's see how our morning commute is though, Majestic.
All right, good Wednesday morning, everyone. Hey, if you're getting ready to head out the door, there will be a couple of things that you'll want to know about. This thing right here, this is the biggest crash. It's on I-85 inbound lanes. I will say it is improving, so I think it's just about cleared, but you do still have a bit of a backup. I-85 northbound, it's approaching Main Street Lowell, so right around exit 22. We're seeing traffic flowing a little bit better than it was, but I would still allow for a little extra drive time.
We are streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington.
Let's go to some live pictures right now from our nation's capital this morning, where President Trump wrapped up his State of the Union address overnight. The president delivering the longest ever address, almost 2 hours. He started his speech off touting his accomplishments in the first year back in office, calling it, quote, the golden age of America.
From there, he covered a multitude of topics, including health care, immigration enforcement, the federal government, and of course, the economy. Days after suffering a loss from the Supreme Court, the president doubled down on his global tariffs.
Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful, country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in.
The president also discussed the deadly attack of Irina Zarutska on Charlotte's light rail last summer, calling on more to be done to put an end to violent crime.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us live this morning. He's along the light rail in South End with more on the president's message. Richard.
Yeah, good morning to you, Lisa. Good morning, Ben. Good Wednesday morning, folks, on the Plus. Basically, the president talked about the city of Charlotte as well as its CAT light rail system. But unfortunately, it wasn't the type of mention that the city wanted. It was to highlight the 6 months after the killing of Irina Zarutska. The president demanded that Charlotte leaders and lawmakers do more to protect their public. Take a listen.
No one will ever forget there were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina.
You hear the applause as Trump recognized Irina's mother, Anya Zarutska, in the gallery. And he also said her daughter fled war in Ukraine, as you heard, in 2022, seeking safety in North Carolina. The president went on to criticize no cash bail policies. He said that allowed the suspect, Carlos Brown, to be released before that fatal attack. And he urged Congress to pass tougher laws to keep repeat offenders in prison. Republicans applauded the remarks while most Democrats remained seated. After the killing, North Carolina's lawmakers approved Irina's law, tightening bail restrictions and expediting death penalty appeals. Now, we did reach out to some Charlotte City leaders, and we also reached out to the leadership of the CATS system. We're waiting to hear back from them, but when they give us a statement, of course, we'll give it to you on all of our platforms, and including that mobile app. We're right here in the South End. This is Richard Devane. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
That's right. The only other time Charlotte mentioned by a State of the Union by a president back in 2012 by President Barack Obama. All right, Richard Devane reporting live for us there. Richard, thank you.
Following President Trump's speech, Virginia's Governor Abigail Spanberger gave the official Democratic response. As expected, Governor Spanberger focused on affordability, arguing that costs remain high for many Americans more than a year into President Trump's second term. The governor also questioning whether his administration's policies are working for the American people.
In his speech tonight, the president did what he always does. He lied, he scapegoated, and he distracted. And he offered no real solutions to our nation's pressing challenges, so many of which he is actively making worse. He tries to divide us. He tries to enrage us, to pit us against one another, neighbor against neighbor.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham praised President Trump's speech. In a post overnight on X, Senator Graham called it, quote, a breathtaking summary of the most successful first year of any president in modern history, adding that unfortunately for the Democrats, they took the bait every time.
Dozens of Democrats boycotting the president's speech, gathering outside the Capitol to host what they call the People's State of the Union. They argue Mr. Trump's address would not tell the reality of what people are really facing. So they took to the podium to share their own perspectives.
Due to his hate, his cruelty, and his indecency, we are more divided now than at any time since the Civil War. Trump's promises have all been broken. He promised to bring down costs, but inflation is up. He promised to bring back jobs, but manufacturing has fled. He promised to end trade deficits, but they have reached all-time highs.
Our coverage of the State of the Union continues all morning long right here on WCNC+. 8:05 right now, turning back to your weather impact forecast. Current tips today, right now in the morning, already at the high it was yesterday, Chris.
And that's how you want to start, right? 44 degrees, so we are matching it. And since we're starting warmer and not in the 20s, yesterday was the coldest day, by the way, that we're going to see for quite some time. I would like to say for the rest of winter and heading into spring, but you know the way this story usually goes. We have gained 1 single degree right around Morganton, same thing for Charlotte, same thing for Boone. Hickory right around 41 degrees. You've been there for about 3 hours now. 61 is going to be the high today, and I do think that we have a decent amount of sunshine heading into the early afternoon before we cloud things back up to end the day. So opening up our weather story, what is the tale? Lower 60s today on a windy Wednesday. That's what we're alliterating today with gusts up and over 30 miles per hour from time to time. Tomorrow we have rain. Friday we have clouds, and then Saturday we have pure greatness. We have the upper 60s to the mid 70s for Saturday and Sunday, which, by the way, this Friday, officially February 27th, our new normal high moves up to 60 degrees. So a lot of people have been asking, when are we consistently back in the 70s and 80s again? Well, to answer the 70s question, it's April 3rd that we start averaging around 70 degrees. And then from there, leading into the middle of May, we start to average 80 degrees at that point. So we had that treat of an 80-degree day. Likely it'll be a rarity or a record-breaking day over the next month or so, but then after that, they're going to be starting to pop up a lot more heading into April. Tomorrow is our best rain chance by far across the board over the next 10 days, and I think it's primarily going to be a morning event. So tomorrow morning's commute, maybe you want to already keep in the back of your mind you need some extra time. Our first signs of rain, already some measurable rainfall early morning hours when many of us are sleeping up in Hickory and around the I-40 corridor. It's between about 4 and 9 that things are shaping up to be the wettest across the Charlotte area. This is 5 o'clock. Watch. This is 8 o'clock. So that's where a majority of the heavier rain moves through. And then this front starts to slow down. There's one thing that's going to change this forecast. If this front that turns into a quasi-stationary front slows down more through the morning, we're going to have more prolonged rain and we're going to have some higher rain totals. But as of right now, we'll have scattered rain starting to head into the early afternoon. It primarily dances down here along the South Carolina and North Carolina border, seeing a range of anywhere from 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch. It just depends on when some of those heavier bands are going to set up. And then we'll have a lingering on and off shower possible through the evening and the overnight. And then once you get rid of those clouds, it's going to be good. 68 degrees on Saturday, as I mentioned, the mid 70s for my pick of the week on Sunday. And then after that, get ready for a roller coaster ride. Your weather impact roller coaster, 75, 76 on Sunday, and the upper 40s on Monday. What gives? That's the thing of this time of year. When you warm up, you're also going to see those big dips. So yet again, it's going to be a beautiful day. We're finally doing it. No, winter makes its return. Temperatures in the upper 40s, which, by the way, Sunday is an appropriate way to start off the month of March, but then day 2 and day 3, not so much. But the good news is this is called cold air damming. So that locks in clouds, that locks in some rain. After that, we're back into the lower 60s, slightly above normal, even another shot at 70 degrees. So good news there. Hopefully good news for who I'm looking at right now. Majestic, what's the status?
Well, it's busy. I think we would all expect that, but we do have a couple of accidents to let you know about, and I also have some pictures of them as well, just to give you more perspective. This is going to be I-77 near Clanton. You can see roads are just slow moving. That's what we would expect this time of the day. This crash just happened here, though. Emergency responders are there on scene. You can see them over to the side. This is on 6th Street, right before Davidson Street, so that's just right in Uptown. Here it is on my map right there. You can see those delays coming in, especially that orange. Again, 6th Street at North Davidson. To the south we go, not very far from that one. This one is on Moorhead Street at Kenilworth Ave. This red here is never a good sign. That means cars are basically at a stop and go. That crash, it looks like this. Here's a picture that we just got in. It's Moorhead Street again at Kenilworth Ave. You can see a few cars are involved in that, and it's really slowing down those 2 to 3 lanes. Otherwise, a lot of other accidents to highlight. This is one of the ones that we do have another picture of. It's going to be here at Westinghouse Boulevard at South Tryon Street, where it is a stop and go. And then once we're heading to the north, this is the one with the accident and the picture of it. University City Boulevard at I-485. You can see the cars over there to the side. side, kind of over to the shoulder, but the lanes are moving rather slowly because of that. Ben.
All right, as we had a break, here's an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey everybody, here at ShopTVDeals.com, we love to bring you products that we ourselves love and have used, and today I got a great example. I want to show you this series of weighted blankets by the company 3P Experts. So listen to me clearly here. If you feel yourself dealing with anxiety or stress or tension, let me tell you the difference that this blanket can make. The weight is spread evenly throughout the entire blanket, which means it's even on your entire body. It almost feels like someone's giving you a hug. So you feel instantly less tension, less anxiety. It can help with all of those issues, whether you're using it on the bed, right here on a couch like this one, or in your favorite chair. There's a sense of calm that this thing really gives you. And for the lighter weights of the blanket, even good for travel. If you travel with a certain level of anxiety, great to bring on the plane. So these weighted blankets come in the 4 colors that you see right here and in 4 different weights. 5, 7, 10, or 15 pounds. Pick what works for you. And again, incredibly comfortable here. A soft material, also machine washable, breathable, so you can use this thing in the summer, of course, as well as in the winter. So not only do we have just incredible comfort here and stress reduction, which feels so nice, we also have a great deal for you as well. You get all these blankets for up to 59% off. So that is a really, really good deal there. Check us out at the QR code or at ShopTVDeals.com.
The time is now 8:14. The family of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie is now offering a $1 million reward for her recovery. Savannah Guthrie, her daughter, announced that new reward in an Instagram video urging anyone with information about her mother to come forward. That post sparked more than 750 calls to the FBI tip line in just 12 hours. Nancy Guthrie has been missing since February 1st. Investigators have not identified a suspect.
In Phoenix, a fast-acting security guard at a Quick Trip helped bring an Amber Alert to a safe end.
That guard spotted a woman and a 2-year-old girl who matched the alert and immediately stepped in, quietly positioning himself near the restroom, keeping them in sight while signaling staff to lock down the exits. Now, he stayed close enough to monitor their movements without tipping off that suspect, buying police the time they needed.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I also have not seen the resolution to an Amber Alert myself. It's a very cool feeling to see it come to a safe resolution like that.
Officers say they were already working the case and moved in quickly, taking that suspect into custody and reuniting the toddler with her family. Phoenix police and those at the gas station, the Quick Trip, say the guards' quick thinking and the community's awareness played a crucial role in bringing that little girl home safely.
8:15 right now here on WCNC Plus. A frightening situation for an 8-year-old South Carolina boy and his family after they say he was dropped off at the wrong bus stop. As Lena Allen reports, it took hours to reunite that child with his mom and dad.
Ashley Holcomb showing me where her son Boston was supposed to be dropped off after school on his first ever bus ride.
Stop right here at the leasing center sign.
But Boston showing me where he was dropped off, 10 minutes away from his house.
Then I realized this wasn't by the neighborhood. I was really scared. I was crying when I was walking.
A mix-up his mom describes as her worst nightmare.
And this was genuinely the scariest day of my life.
Boston's dad says he was waiting for him at home that day, but after 30 minutes with no sight of his son, he knew something was wrong.
It was scary. It's pitch black outside.
The school later confirmed all bus routes were done for the day, sending Boston's parents into even more of a panic. They called the police as they started searching any and everywhere with still no luck. A huge sigh of relief coming around 7 that night when Ashley got a call from her son. A woman found Boston walking through her neighborhood crying for help.
His face was very, very stained in my brain of how upset and just really scared that I could tell he was.
Boston told his parents the bus driver dropped him off at the wrong stop, even after he told her it wasn't right. When WIS started looking into this story, Lexington Richland 5 school district officials said they placed the bus driver on leave and were investigating what happened. Now, nearly 2 weeks later, officials telling me there are no updates.
A regular routine day, you know what I'm saying, just turned into something that could have been really bad.
The family says their focus now is accountability to make sure this doesn't happen again.
All right, 8:17 now, caught on camera. It's not every day that you get a behind-the-scenes look at a burglary in progress. In California, a group of thieves recorded their own crime, handing prosecutors 4 short clips that showed everything from the break-in to the moment they divided the stolen jewelry from a repair store. Those clips, along with security footage, helped the investigators identify that group. For the owners, the emotional toll went far beyond the break-in itself because much of what was taken belonged to their customers.
Worst part about the loss of property that we had was the customers that we've built up over that same period have entrusted us with their heirloom jewelry to repair, and unfortunately some of that jewelry, or all of that jewelry, was stolen.
But owners of the jewelry repair store say that none of the jewelry stolen in the break-in has been recovered. Investigators say the videos helped secure convictions for 3 of the 4 suspects.
You don't need the umbrella today, but for sure you need it on Thursday, and on Friday it's a little iffy, but luckily you don't need it this weekend. Your full weather forecast coming up. Well, hello there. Here's what's going on. Temperatures are right around 44 degrees. We haven't really moved too much over the last couple of hours because of this cloud cover. Not really motivating for your Wednesday, but we will see a little more sunshine before you know it. Sun's already starting to pop from place to place by the end of the morning, early afternoon. It's really this span, this 5 hours from 10 till 2, that I think you're going to have the sunniest sky. And it's not going to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Still clouds mixing in. Then after that, clouds start to roll in. I'll show you what that looks like here in one moment. Lower 60s today. That's a nice little upgrade, but the wind gusts up to 30 to 35 miles per hour will be a possibility. Here's what we have. So right now, you're already dealing with a little bit of clearing. And then as I mentioned, that window of opportunity, late morning, early afternoon. But then here comes that cloud cover. Winds out of the southwest will blast it back in. And then here's the rain. Rain, I think, is going to be most widespread, really, either side of sunrise. By the way, the sun's rising up sub 7 o'clock now. So just before 7 by a few minutes. And that rain could be heavy at times. These yellows always represent at least up to about 1/4 of an inch per hour, some even higher rain rates. So that's where we're going to see most of the rain. So this is not really an all-day type of thing. I think it's more of a morning type of event. However, the further south that you go, it will of course arrive a little bit later, and it's going to last a little bit longer because the system slowly starts to slow down. That's why between about 9 and noon, we start to see some breaks, less up to the north, even a few areas of sunshine. But the further south you go, the wetter it is, the longer it lasts, and the cloudier it's going to be. High temperatures today are in the lower 60s. High temperatures tomorrow likely in the upper 50s. But as long as we have that cloud cover around, it's still going to keep things pretty mild. We just fall to around 50 degrees or slightly below for your Friday. Chance of a spotty rain shower, but then things start to break up. I think officially by your late Saturday, because I wouldn't be surprised if we have some morning fog on Saturday after all this rain. We're finally actually going to see a little bit of sunshine, a big time warm up. The winds out of the southwest are the main reason why we're warmer today. That's actually the best treat. The reason why we were just recently at that 83-degree point was because of a strong wind out of the southwest. But it takes multiple days of this to happen, and that's exactly what we have going forward and why we're so warm heading into the weekend. Our futurecast wind gusts staying around 20 to 25 right now. I think it's right around here, the middle of the afternoon. It's called about 2 to 4. That's where I think we have the highest gust to about 35 miles per hour. Things still rocking through the overnight, so those branches still going to be tapping against the house heading into your Thursday morning. So that means the winds still staying strong, still could blow that rain around, and this is all associated with that front. Once this front officially is going to pass its way down towards the south, we are good, we are done, we are good to go. As far as where our temperatures are going to go, as far as our lows, we're expecting a nice mix of the 50s, falling to around that freezing point on your Tuesday, but then right back up, and then 76 degrees for your Sunday. That's my pick of the week. All right, Majestic, what's going on?
Good morning, everyone. It's 8:23. Let's get you going and out the door. This is I-77 out near John Belk. You can see lots of people are up starting their day. Area roadways nice and dry for us. Not seeing any concerns there. This is one of our newer crashes. It's on 6th Street right before Davidson Street. A couple of emergency responders are there on scene. You can see them on the sidewalk as well. So that is causing some delays. Here it is as we take a look at my map. That same exact crash where we actually have delays coming in all directions. Next up, we're following this one. When I saw you just about 5 minutes ago, we had a ton of red. With stop and go traffic, at this point, it's still pretty slow. Moorhead Street, northbound at Kenilworth Ave. There it is on my map, and here's an actual picture of it. A crash involving at least 2 to 3 cars, and those lanes are moving, but they're still moving really slowly. And then as we're heading up to the north, we've been talking about this accident that was just cleared University City Boulevard at I-485. They're clearing it over to the side. Lanes are still moving, but there is still a little bit of congestion. Guys.
All right, 8:25 right now on your Wednesday morning. Live pictures right now over Uptown. Coming up after the break, we're going to break down the President's State of the Union address. That's coming up next right here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Chris Mulcahy. Good to see you. 35 degrees is what we have in Morganton. 44 in Charlotte is actually a milestone because that was our high yesterday. So we're already doing better. Now, it is a cloudy start to the day. More sunshine will be with us a couple hours from now. Lower 60s, though, so that's a nice change. So we'll have some sunshine mixing in today. No need for the umbrella, but tomorrow I think you absolutely need it, especially if you're doing anything in the morning. Rain starts to arrive overnight tonight, but I think the heart of the beast is going to be right here around our morning commute tomorrow. So around this time, it should be actively raining, and then eventually that rain is going to get out of here. Anywhere from 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch across the area. Here's the nice treat, though. We take our time clearing out the clouds Friday, heading into Friday night, but eventually sunshine mixing in, upper 60s to the mid 70s this weekend for another brief cool down Monday and Tuesday. All right, Majestic, it's getting busy.
It is. Here we go, you guys. Just before 8:30 this morning, this is I-77 out near John Belk. You can see it is moving quite slowly, but this is the norm. We don't have any accidents to report right there. One thing I am watching is a new wreck. It's on 6th Street right before North Davidson. You can see a couple of emergency responders are there on scene. Here it is on my map. We are seeing delays coming in all directions. And then again, Moorhead Street at Kenilworth Ave. There is another crash there. Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. First up, a look at your weather impact forecast right now at 8:30. And Chris, folks headed out the door this morning, but you said tomorrow's commute will actually be especially messy.
Yeah, that's what we're really looking at. This morning, they're only really impacted by the winds that are overall, so I wasn't in my right place. And it's really going to be, I think, the heaviest rain between about 4 and 9 o'clock. After that, we're still going to have rain, but it's the impactful rain, the ones that are going to be widespread. So just be a weather alert for tomorrow morning. Strong winds gusting up to about 25 to 35 miles per hour. And it's still a day like today. We actually had a top of a tree, which we realized it's this time of year, like, oh, that tree is dead. Well, the top of it actually blew off last week when we had winds at a very similar range and fell into our neighbor's yard. So this is a time of year that I think is really nice to assess what trees you have that maybe need some tending to. That one, sadly, we're going to have to fully cut down just because now it's a hazard and it's starting to lean a little bit. But those type of winds are enough to bring down some of those trees that are really decaying and cracked because they're already dead and it's brittle wind. wood, and it's also when you have some of those gusts that are going to be anywhere from around the 35 mile per hour point. As far as our temperatures are concerned, we have the lower 40s, the mid 30 degree point for our lows right around Hickory. That was a quick warm up to 41 for you, and we're already starting to see signs of sunshine further off towards the west. It's going to be heading our way, even though it looks pretty cloudy, but this is one of those opaque clouds that it's still enough transparency that's letting in a little bit of solar radiation, so it should really start warming us up, especially over the next couple of hours. Still think it's enough strength to muster us for a range of the lower to the mid 60s across our beautiful area. Tonight, we're dropping temperatures down into the lower 50s, so the cloud cover definitely help us out. Widespread rain. I don't think it's going to be a pretty morning commute tomorrow. And then once you get to Friday, I still think that you have a chance for an isolated shower, but it should be right around 60 degrees. Keep that in mind. As far as our current temperatures, we are right around that 44 degree point. As I mentioned, our extended forecast is pointing towards a big warm up. Here's the treat, a grand reveal. Temperatures in the upper 60s on Saturday, the mid 70s on Sunday, and we will see a little bit of a drop. So what we're seeing here is some clouds and even a little bit of rain are going to be backed up against the mountains. This is called cold air damming. That's going to cool us down. If this looks like it's not going to last as long, it doesn't look to be as deep, we'll likely bring temperatures up, but that's the main reason why we're cooling down and staying there. But luckily for the longer range forecast, we are going to see a nice little comeback because we're right back into the 60s, even around 70 degrees by day 10 of the extended forecast. By the way, this Friday, our new average high moves to 60 degrees, so expect a lot more 60s going forward. All right, Majestics, looks like things are looking okay, but at least where you're at on I-77.
Yeah, exactly. And at least it's not so cold like it's been the last couple of mornings. It's been one of those days where you at least don't have to pull out your biggest, heaviest jacket like you have had Monday and Tuesday. This is I-77 here. Still definitely a dreary start to the day, but at least we don't have any rain showers out there right now. We're just learning that this crash right here is not just a crash. It's actually a pedestrian accident. I've been talking about it for at least the last 10 to 15 minutes. There are some emergency responders. They're on scene, 6th Street, right before Davidson. That is going to be right here on my map, North Davidson, where we do have some delays coming in because of that. Next up, I want to let you know that this crash, it has been kind of our headache one. It just cleared Moorhead Street, northbound at Kenilworth Ave. Now, although it is cleared, we do still have some delays. This was a picture that we were looking at. Multiple cars were involved in that, but at least we are making improvements now that we are just after that 8:30 time frame. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about a couple of things that I'm seeing for areas south of Uptown. Ben.
Majestic, thanks. President Trump delivering his first State of the Union of his second term, touting the economy and his immigration policy. As NBC's Tracy Wilkins reports, it comes as polls show Americans are losing confidence in the economy.
As President Trump addressed members of Congress for the second year of his second term.
Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Divisions between the two parties were evident, especially on issues like the state of the economy.
They caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
The president boasted a stronger economy, one of the many issues more than half of Americans believe he's failing on, according to recent polling. Trump also made his case on his tariffs in front of the Supreme Court justices who recently ruled limiting his ability to levy them.
But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made.
The president touted ending wars while promising he will not allow Iran to pursue a nuclear weapon.
I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon.
Several Democrats boycotted the speech, while some who were there at times shouted in protest, especially apparent when the president accused Democrats of supporting sanctuary cities and not his immigration policies.
They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
It was a point Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger addressed in the Democratic response.
Our president has sent poorly trained federal agents into our cities, where they have arrested and detained American citizens and people who aspire to be Americans, and they have done it without a warrant.
Spanberger also countered questioning if Americans are the ones who are benefiting most from the president's policies.
The scale of the corruption is unprecedented.
There was a moment when both parties agreed and Democrats who were in the chamber applauded. And that was when the president called for the passage of a bill to end insider stock trading by members of Congress. In Washington, I'm Tracy Wilkins, NBC News.
As Tracy mentioned, the president's speech saw a number of disruptions from Democratic lawmakers. For the second year in a row, Texas Congressman Al Green escorted out of the House chamber. He was seen holding a sign that read, "Black people aren't apes." That's a reference to a now deleted video post by President Trump showing former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as apes in a jungle.
I don't speak for everybody, but I speak for people of goodwill who understand that if you tolerate this kind of behavior, you perpetuate it. I refuse to tolerate this level of hate that the president is in fact putting into policy.
Green went on to say he wasn't defying instructions from his party to sit in silent defiance, but wanted to make a point. Now let's go to live figures right now over our nation's capital, where the fight to end a partial shutdown continues at this hour. Tuesday, the Senate failed to advance a measure to fund the Department of Homeland Security. In a 50-45 vote, the measure fell short of the 60 votes that it needed to move forward. The vote marked a second attempt to advance the measure.
Charlotte City Council is working on its next budget, and the Charlotte Firefighters Association wants to make sure it's included. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards joins us live this morning. She is outside of a fire station in South End to share the firefighters' demands. Destiny.
That's right. Public safety is expected to be a big part of Charlotte's next fiscal year budget, and firefighters want to be included in that conversation. Of city leaders, they are asking for better pay and benefits, saying compensation as it is right now just doesn't keep up with the risks of the job or the city's rapid growth. Now, the Charlotte Firefighters Association's top request is for equal pay with CMPD officers through the city's public safety pay plan, plus a cost of living adjustment. Starting pay for firefighters is currently about $3 less than CMPD, and union leaders say that pay gap is making it harder to recruit and retain staff. They're also pushing for lower health insurance premiums and funding for 5 permanent modified duty positions, so firefighters with serious job-related medical conditions can continue serving beyond the current 5-year limit.
Our members experience line-of-duty injuries, cardiac conditions, and occupational illnesses after years of exposure. Some are medically removed from riding the apparatus.
Firefighters from all experience groups, those with a couple years of experience and those with 20 years of experience, they are leaving to go to other departments and other fields of work that offer better pay and benefits.
And council members say they are meeting with firefighters, trying to get some kind of resolution and meet these requests as budget talks continue. But they're also weighing these requests with broader considerations like whether to raise taxes in the city of Charlotte. We know that the city's budget is expected to be finalized by the end of June. Live in South End, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
Destiny, thanks for that report. We did some more digging this morning. We found out there are about 1,230 firefighters. Their starting pay, $56,710. CMPD has 1,930 police officers with a starting pay about $59,500.
New this morning, we're seeing some progress on a new detention center in Lancaster County. Take a look. You can see construction well underway in these photos. Right now, the new building is a little more than halfway built. The county says the project will replace aging infrastructure and improve safety, security, and rehabilitation efforts there in the community. 8:40 right now. A major aviation safety bill just failed in the House, despite emotional pleas from victims' families. But the fight over preventing another deadly mid-air collision is not over. 8:42 right now. Just in this morning, a U.S. military plane carrying 5 American personnel crashed into a concrete barrier Tuesday afternoon while attempting to take off during a training exercise in northern Philippines. Officials say all 5 were injured. 3 were taken to the hospital. The aircraft was taking part in takeoff and landing drills. The cause is still under investigation.
The House has rejected an aviation safety bill that the Senate unanimously passed in response to last year's deadly mid-air collision over the Potomac River. You may remember that. Family members of those 67 victims watched from the gallery as the Rotor Act fell short of the 2/3 votes needed for fast-track approval. Supporters say that measure would strengthen aircraft tracking technology to help prevent future tragedies. The Pentagon withdrew its support a day earlier, warning the bill could create budget and security challenges, prompting House GOP leaders to oppose it. House leaders now plan to advance their own aviation safety bill.
California lawmakers considering a new rule that would require Uber and other rideshare companies to report how much they pay for medical bills after their drivers or passengers are hurt in crashes. Supporters think this transparency could help lower insurance costs by showing how different hospitals charge different prices for the same care. Uber is pushing back, saying the rule could raise its costs, making rides more expensive. Lawmakers still debating the proposal as part of the effort to address rising insurance rates in that state.
Well, right now, driverless cars could be making their way back to Charlotte. There are reports online after people in Uptown say they saw a fleet of Waymo cars being dropped off.
It comes years after Cruise was testing vehicles here. WCNC Charlotte's Julie Kay tells us everything we know so far.
Soon you may be able to get around town without a driver. Some people say they've seen Waymo self-driving cars in Uptown Charlotte, but some drivers tell me they worry about traffic and safety.
The rumors, it's very scary, have some drivers pumping the brakes.
And I'm not super excited about it.
It all started with a Reddit post saying they saw Waymo vehicles being dropped off in Uptown. Waymo, which already operates in 10 cities, was unable to confirm Tuesday. But if the rumors are true, this wouldn't be the first attempt to bring driverless cars to Charlotte.
Maybe here it'll be a little safer since there's not as many people like in San Francisco.
Cruise taxis started testing in Charlotte back in 2023. There were some concerns after a video showed one of them getting into a close call with a driver on Independence Boulevard. The company eventually paused operations due to permitting issues before riders here got a chance to try them out. Some drivers, including Alberto Goldston, says Charlotte may need even extra testing.
But there will always be an unforeseen circumstance, and that's where I don't trust a machine to make a decision. And especially here in Charlotte, that drivers are a little reckless.
He's worried about the existing traffic and challenging roads, specifically the notorious Exit 3A between Uptown and Noda. In 2017, the General Assembly passed a law fully allowing autonomous vehicles and restricting local governments from getting in the way. So if Waymo does confirm their expansion here, it's a green light.
I would try it, but maybe, I'm not sure.
In Uptown, Julie Kay, WCNC Charlotte.
I've been in cities where they have those driverless cars. It takes some getting used to, first of all, seeing a vehicle approaching and there's no one in the driver's seat. But
we had them here in Charlotte probably 3 or 4 years ago,
yes.
Like we said with Cruise. And there was a notorious incident that we showed on our newscast at the time off Independence of where it started merging into a car. Yeah, that doesn't give you confidence. At the same time, like a lot of this technology, I'm sure it will be perfectly fine.
Yes.
Do you want to be in the car while they're still testing it out, though?
Right. It's that mental hurdle, the level of trust.
Totally.
Few things to think about.
That's right.
Meanwhile, check this out. In Iowa, as part of National Future Farmers of America Week, several students are driving their tractors to school.
Tractors lined the parking lot at a small rural school district there in northwest Iowa, a rolling reminder of the community's roots in farming. Students say the tradition is more than just a fun ride. It's a reflection of what they value there in that community.
Agriculture is more diverse than just being on a farm and planting crops and all that. An FFA isn't just about growing those skills and helping you become more integrated into that agriculture field. It just helps you in general be a better person and ready for your life as you go on.
That chapter includes 41 students that makes up nearly 40% of the school, showing a real interest there in farming.
When we come back here on WCNC Plus, today in Black History, we relive a boxing match that birthed a name still echoing throughout sports today.
Hi, this is Story Sprinkle. Time for today's Tiny Town. And when you talk about Lone Star, you normally would think of the Lone Star State of Texas. But today's Lone Star is Lone Star, South Carolina, not too far from Orangeburg, St. Matthews, and not too far from Columbia in South Carolina. The population is 15. Total area is less than a square mile. It's in Calhoun County there in South Carolina. The zip code is 29030. It's about 133 miles from Charlotte, 46 miles from Columbia, and 13 miles from St. Matthews in South Carolina. Lone Star, South Carolina. Once again, that's the sign. Population 15. Second smallest town in South Carolina. This is the buildings you'll see there, all abandoned. Lone Star, South Carolina. That's today's Tiny Town. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
So check this out. I didn't really even realize this is a thing, but an inflatable sports dome collapsed here in New Jersey. This is good sports, where it's a nice little opportunity during the winter for you to get in lacrosse, flag football. They play a lot of different games here. But as you can see, when you deflate something inflatable, it just is flat on the ground. So everything just completely collapsed right here. That's what 2 feet of snow can do, because the amount of weight that comes from that. And this is also very wet snow over here in New Jersey. So no good sports can be played anytime soon. Hopefully they'll be able to remedy that. Find the hole, I guess, is going to be the first step. Speaking of that, we actually are starting to see a hole in our cloud cover. It's really starting to form right here around Asheville. So likely this area is just dealing with a very thin layer of clouds, pretty cloudy everywhere else. And then that's where we're going to see our opening of sunshine for the late morning heading into the afternoon. And then we wait for this next front to arrive. Notice how it's a stationary front. It's barely moving, and then it's going to start to stall across our area once it gets going overnight tonight. And I think it's especially down in South Carolina that we're seeing a majority of the rain. Our weather story, as we open up the book, turning the pages, we have the lower 60s today. It's a windy Wednesday. That's the main story about today. Tomorrow's the wettest day. We have a cloudy day on Friday, and then eventually we'll start to see a nice little warm up for the weekend. Boy, do we have a wonderful weekend, and then we will see an eventual fall down behind that. 'Tis the time of year. By early tomorrow morning, we're already starting to see rain around the I-40 corridor. We're seeing our first signs of accumulating rain really before the sun rises up. I think it's going to be during our morning commute, so especially between about 6 and 8 is where I think we have some of the heavier showers. And then they start to level out down here in South Carolina. Still on and off rain, going to be a possibility to complete tomorrow morning. Heading into the afternoon, likely staying cloudy. Still a chance for a few showers here and there. And then a spotty shower also heading into your Friday. Friday's the transition day. Wind still at the southwest. If we had more sunshine, we would be able to warm up well above 60 degrees. But that's not the case over the next few days. And then once we get a lot more sunshine, especially late morning on Saturday, wouldn't be surprised if we have some morning fog as well. 68 degrees will be the norm, and then we get up to the mid 70s. That is my pick of the week, the warmest day, easy choice there. The only thing I'm seeing that might be a problem here for Sunday is we increase the clouds a little bit later on. That could limit our temperatures, but as of right now, we're holding on to sunshine, and the clouds increase during the evening. So where we go from there? Boo! Big drop to the upper 40s. That's where clouds and some rain are going to be locked in, keeping us on the chilly side. No sunshine. And then sunshine starts to come back. That will bring us back to the lower 60s, slightly above normal, around 70 degrees by the 6th of March. As far as our lows go, only one dip to around the freezing point. Other than that, well above freezing in the 40s to even the lower to the mid 50s. Okay, one last look of our morning traffic right here on WCNC Plus. Good morning.
Good morning. Let's take you out to Woodlawn, getting a live camera look. This is I-77. It is looking much better than it was just about 20 minutes ago as we're getting closer to that 9 o'clock time frame. So basically things are spot on right now. We still have a handful of ongoing wrecks, but most of these, they're more on the minor side. I'm not seeing anything that's significantly slowing down a ton of people. This one here is still important though. It's on University City Boulevard at Pavilion Boulevard. It is backed up to Creek Church Road, so we're continuing to follow that one for you. And then just off to the west, this is Hucks Road. Eastbound lanes being impacted there at Old Statesfield Road. You see this yellow? This is the third thing you'll want to know about before you head out the door. It's I-45, the inner loop at Old Statesfield Road. That's where we just had a crash right there. It's backed up to I-77, exit 23 up there. Guys.
All right, Majestic, thanks so much. Well, today in Black History, we look back to February 25th, 1964. That's when a 22-year-old Cassius Clay, who was later known as Muhammad Ali, shocked the world. He stunned the boxing world by defeating the heavyweight champion Sonny Liston in a 7th-round knockout, a moment that many call the biggest upset in boxing history. Ali boldly predicted that he would float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And you know what? He delivered, claiming that title. Muhammad Ali went on to become the first boxer to win the heavyweight title 3 times, cementing his place as one of the most groundbreaking champions in sports history.
Approaching 8:55 right now. Live pictures over Uptown to start off your Wednesday morning. Keep it right here. Our live Impact News coming up at the top of the hour with Jane Monreal.
Let's do this one more time this morning. Good to see you. Lower to the mid-60s today. Already starting to see some signs of sunshine. Temperatures rocking the mid-40s right now. And then before you know it, once we get more sunshine, temperatures are going to zoom up through the 40s, through the 50s, eventually leveling out right around 60 degrees. Now, I think the best opportunity for sunshine is really a couple hours from now into the early afternoon. And then after that, still mild overnight tonight as clouds roll back in. But today, the bottom line is going to be a windy Wednesday with strong gusts at 25 to 35 miles per hour. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. We're hovering around the same high, around 60 degrees. But then here's the treat. Upper 60s near 70, mid 70s on Sunday, and then eventually we have a cool down back to the upper 40s. So enjoy the warm up when it's here. A wonderful weekend as we transition to March. All right, one last look at traffic with Majestic as well.
Good morning, everyone. Want to let you know about a construction project. It is starting right at 9 o'clock this morning. It's for the Myers Park neighborhood as crews are going to be out there repairing a sinkhole that started to form right there in the intersection of East Boulevard, South Kings Drive, and Kings Road. That's going to be going ongoing daily until Friday at 5 o'clock at night. Meanwhile, we do have a new crash. This is going to be right here, Billy Graham Parkway at Morrisfield Drive. Take it easy out there and have a great Wednesday.